Today, we are diving into one of the most romantic and ornate homes of the 19th century, the Italianate. With its tall windows, decorative brackets, and stately presence, this style brought a touch of European charm to the American streets. In this video, we'll explore the origins of the Italianate style, when it became popular, what set it apart from previous architectural styles, as well as the iconic exterior and interior features, and then we'll wrap up looking at how the Italianate has stood the test of time. The Italianate style emerged from the picturesque movement in England in the early 1800s, which itself was a reaction to kind of the rigid formality of the earlier architectural styles, such as the Georgian and the Greek Revival, which really emphasized symmetry, proportion, and the classical order. So as Romanticism kind of impacted art, literature, and architecture, cultural tastes shifted towards kind of emotion, nature, and the beauty of imperfection. And designers turned to the rambling stone villas of the Italian countryside for inspiration to create homes which were more natural, romantic, relaxed, and organically evolved. The style was brought to the United States in the early 1840s, and it quickly gained popularity, especially between the 1850s and the 1880s. It appealed to Americans in the early Victorian period who wanted to embrace kind of more ornamentation and a more worldly aesthetic without necessarily going full Gothic. It was built all across the country, and it was a real favourite of affluent city dwellers, merchants, and homeowners looking to stand out. With its roots in romantic idealism and rustic Italian charm, this style brought a whole new visual architecture to American neighbourhoods. So let's take a look at all the exterior features which instantly make these homes so recognisable. Feature number one was the overhanging eaves with decorative wooden brackets, and these were definitely a defining feature of the Italianate style, inspired by the rural villas of Italy. So the large projecting cornices were supported by wooden brackets, often paired or evenly spaced along the facade, adding a sense of richness and drama to the roofline. Feature number two were the tall, narrow windows with arched hoods. And these windows were designed to evoke the look of the grand Italian villas or Renaissance era buildings, which also had tall, narrow windows to add emphasis and an abundance of natural light. These sash windows were often crowned with molded surrounds or decorative hoods, which emphasized their height and formality. The arches at the top were either rounded, segmental, or pedimented, and they add a romantic European touch that really distinguishes the Italianate from the earlier, more rigid, symmetrical styles. But I just want to pause for a second and take a moment to show you the difference on these decorative hoods between the rounded, which you can see here, the pedimented, and the segmental. So while they are all different and they all kind of create a slightly different vibe, they all contribute to the graceful, elevated look that really distinguishes the Italianate windows. So the third exterior feature were the low-pitched hip roofs. So unlike the steep gables of the colonial or the Gothic architectural style, the Italianate had a hip roof, which means all sides gently slope to the walls. And having the more shallow roofline also allowed for the easy integration of rooftop features like cupolas or belvederes without disrupting the kind of roofline silhouette. And one final feature, the hipped low-pitched roof, which is kind of Mediterranean style, allows for a more horizontal emphasis of the home. But then you've got the dichotomy of these kind of tall, elongated windows punched in there too. So it really makes for an effective facade when you look at an Italianate home. The fourth exterior feature has just been mentioned, and that's cupolas and belvederes. Now, although they're often linked together, they are quite distinct architectural features in their own right, each bringing their own individual vertical emphasis. So a cupola is a small dome-like structure which sits on the rooftop, and it's designed for light and ventilation, whereas a belvedere is a larger structure, typically square or rectangular, either rising from the roofline or on the edge of the house. Now, Belvedere actually means beautiful view in Italian, and it can be a real crowning feature of a property. The final exterior feature were the ornate entryways with double doors. So entrances on Italianate homes were designed to impress, and you'll often find tall panel double doors with either a arched or rectangular transom window above, and sometimes side lights flanking the doors on either side. These entryways were framed with decorative pilasters or moulding to create a sense of ceremony as you stepped inside. But this grandeur wasn't just about style, because in Italian Renaissance ideals, the front door symbolized hospitality and status. In Italian culture, the entrance was considered an important architectural moment to frame the transition from public to private, as well as an opportunity to showcase the family's refinement and respectability. While the exterior of an Italianate home creates a very bold first impression, the interior carries the same sense of elegance and craftsmanship. But if you're liking this or finding it useful, please like and subscribe. It really helps my channel out. Okay, now let's step inside and look at the interior defining features of the Italianate architectural style. The first interior feature were high ceilings. Italianate homes always had soaring ceilings, usually around 10 to 12 feet, maybe even taller. They had the same vertical emphasis on the inside as we saw on the outside. But it wasn't just about grandeur, because these soaring ceilings helped regulate the temperature at a time before air conditioning. So when you combine these tall ceilings with the tall, narrow windows, it created a really open, airy feel, which still feels really luxurious today. Feature number 2 was elaborate woodwork. So thick baseboards, crown mouldings, and deeply cased doorways were standard in Italianate interiors, showcasing the homeowner's wealth and taste. And unlike earlier architectural styles which favoured simple trim, Italianate homes were all about ornamentation. And this actually comes from the Italian Renaissance interiors, where carving and detail were used extensively to demonstrate skill and opulence. Feature number 3 were the formal parlour rooms. Italianate interiors were organised around 1 or 2 parlour rooms, which served as the elegant space to entertain guests and visitors. These rooms were located at the front of the house and richly appointed with detailed trim, high ceilings, and usually a central fireplace. The parlour was the family's showcase, and it was loaded with kind of the family's best silver, artwork, decorative pieces, because they were meant to impress visitors, which were only received in those rooms or in that room. And over time, the formal parlour evolved to what we now know as the formal living room. Interior feature number 4 were decorative ceiling medallions and plasterwork, which added a touch of European refinement to formal rooms. These decorative flourishes were influenced by Italian interior detailing, where ornate stucco work adorned ceilings and cornices, serving as both a focal point as well as a display of sophistication. And the final interior feature was the grand staircase. Italianate staircases were prominently featured in the entry hall, and again they were designed to impress, with dark hardwoods and curved balusters. Those staircases borrowed from classical Italian ideals, where the transitions from public to private areas were met with great architectural drama and formality. So what's the legacy of Italianate architecture today? Although they fell out of favour by the late 1800s, Italianate homes have aged very gracefully, and many still stand proudly in the historic districts across the US, from San Francisco's famous Painted Ladies to the restored row homes of Brooklyn. Their enduring charm lies in their balance, ornate but not overwrought, formal yet inviting. Italianate design helped introduce Americans to the idea of architecture as self-expression, and its embrace of European detailing, verticality, and ornamentation paved the way for more eclectic styles such as the Queen Anne and Second Empire. So next time you're walking through a historic neighbourhood and you see those bracketed eaves or the tall arched windows, take a closer look. You're probably stood right in front of a beautiful Italianate home. So I hope you found this helpful. Please like, leave a comment. Don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the homes we live in. And I'll see you next time on Homes Explained.